And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is 10:30 on a Sunday. You know what that means. It is time for In the Driver's Seat with the Suito Bandito. It is the worst stunt double for Chuck Norris of all time. It is the Bandit, Corey Renforth. What's up, buddy?
Long time no see.
Yeah, tell me about it. Little night at the dirt track last night. My first ever time. Got to meet everybody, well, except Shane. I got to meet Shane today, and Shane Meadows is with us today. We'll give him the proper Bandit intro here in just a moment. Or you just want to unleash it now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he did tell me that he wasn't going to be there yesterday, but, classic idiot fashion. I forgot what he told me. But this is Shane. He fast. That's it. That's
there
all
it is.
I know.
There's the Bandit intro.
Right.
We're going to learn about him. We're going to talk first about the experience last night, the races that took place. It was a beautiful night for racing.
Yeah,
it was dirty. I'll tell you that. I did not expect it. The lady came up before the races even started. She's like, nice shoes. Those aren't going to be nice at the end of the night.
Yeah, it's not a place to wear a three-piece suit.
No, or your $600 hat.
Stays in the truck. That's
always stays in his $80,000 truck. His $600 hat stays in his $80,000 truck. That's all electric, and everybody gives you hell about it. I learned that last night.
If it was all electric, I couldn't be friends with mixes. They would disown me. So there is a gas motor there.
Last night I got to meet a lot of the guys and gals that come through here. Got to watch them in their domain, as opposed to the other way around. So it was really cool for me. Learned so much about not just the Goods family of racers, but also kind of, some of the things that go on there that you were seemingly in the mix of, no pun intended, in the mix of everything that happens at Goods Raceway. You were like the Charlie Brown of the Goods track.
Yeah, I had one old boy come up to me and said, everybody seems to be coming to you for everything. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know nothing. Like, I guess they just want to have a good chuckle and be like, all right, I know more than that guy. So I'm on this. But you got to see everybody in the wild, so to speak, I guess. Like, this is like, you get caged tigers here, but you got to see everybody.
I was in the zoo. I was in the zoo, man.
Hunting antelope.
Yeah, it was a safari to say the least, but it was fun. It was unlike anything that I pictured. Like, you come here, we've been doing this for 2 years, and you talk about the stories, and in my head, it looks like one thing, and then you get there, and it's a completely different kind of concept. It's like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. All of that makes sense. But we have some interviews we want to get to. The first one is Drew Haney, who joined us a couple weeks ago. Got a heat race win last night. Car felt good. We'll let you know what happened to Drew after you hear from him yourself right here on In the Driver's Seat. A big heat race win. Talk to me about what was going on at 1.5 seconds ahead of the pace.
Yeah, I actually didn't know what the gap was on second place, and I was a little bit, this first time I had the mod light here to race it here at Good, so I wasn't sure if my setup was going to be good or not, but yeah, we caught a lap car, and he slowed up there, and I was nervous that with the second place car was going to be all over us. And once I cleared him and didn't see anybody, I'm like, oh, I must have had a little bit of a cushion there. So really happy with the car, really happy where we're sitting right now. And lap times seem to be equal to the guys in the other heat races.
How's the track feel right now?
Dry. I hope they get some water on that. They're going to need to water that before the feature, but slick, dry, but fun.
So the feature is going to have some real fast cars.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to pass if it's like that. It might not be too much passing going on. Real slick, some spinning out, so try to stay out of trouble.
808 car feeling good?
Feeling good.
All right, so Drew wins the heat race, and he was looking fast, like real fast, especially the turn. What's the far one in the left? Is that turn 2?
Where we were at is 3 and 4, so far away from us is 1 and 2.
Okay, so after he hit 2, he was gunning it. He looked super fast, but he gets to the feature, and I mean, that was an absolute. Oh, I can say it. It was a shit show,
Oh, they had a big wreck.
Yeah, it was a big one, and it was like those cars were so fast. Jimmy Smith which, the dude was just working constantly. He was all business all night. And his car just looked so much faster than everybody else's, but he still was kind of kept in check by the other racers. Talk to me about Corey from that standpoint. What did you see?
You'd have to talk.
Well, Shane wasn't. I don't want to put him on the spot. He wasn't there.
He knows he's one of these fast guys. You can get stuck in traffic and you can run the same lap times as everybody around. What do you think you have to be like lap time wise to actually pass somebody like faster than them?
Well,
if you're like a 10th or 2/10 faster than them, you're gonna catch them. But now you gotta pass them. Like you gotta.
When you can be faster than someone, but on a track like that, it's hard to pass because you think you get underneath of them and then you run out of bite and they got the high side momentum, or vice versa. But on a track like that, it is hard to pass, and when you do pass them, you have to earn it.
And you can't go too far to the outside.
No, you'll flow right up.
Yeah, hello Wall City.
Yeah. And there was a lot of controversy last night about the track. I mean, like to the point where even this morning it's spilling over. You see some of these people talking about the track. I mean, do you like? Is there frustration with kind of like when the track's like that? Like, what do you want the track to be like?
Every track's gonna go through that, especially when it's hot out and sunny and windy.
Yeah,
it was kind of the perfect storm for a dry track last night. Thought there was rain coming through that didn't come through.
Right.
And then it was pretty breezy.
Yeah.
And it was sunny. So that's going to dry stuff out pretty quick. But you just got to deal with it as a driver, I guess. And it's not like you're going to go somewhere that's going to be the perfect tackiness every week. It's
almost always, you're always going to have a dry, slick track at the end of the night. It's really nothing you can do.
It's semi-predictable, though. I mean, it's like, of course, if it's 90 degrees out, it's probably going to be dry, slick track. I mean, it's the whole way through.
So I'm looking at this right now. This was the feature, right? This was the finals.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about Drew winning the heat race. He ends up in 5th place in the feature. I'm sorry, sixth place. I'm sorry. And then you had Teddy finish 4th.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Smith, who we talked about in the J11, finishes 3rd, and Cody finishes 1st. Yeah. So when you look at that, I mean, that was an impressive race from top to bottom, and there was a lot of wrecks in that race. But the one I really want to talk about is, if I can find it, what is it down here? The dwarf car one that you're usually in.
Yeah.
That might have been my favorite race of the night, because there was just so much going on the entire night, and for
the feature.
Yeah, where am I at here?
You're at the heat one there.
There you go. Okay, so
they only had one caution, so it was a nice. They're racing.
So at the top is Chris Robbins,
aka Teddy.
Exactly. So, and the funny thing about the entire night was Chris just kept, like, every time you'd see Chris, you see me? Did you see it? Did you see it? Yeah, you see it? I was like, yeah, we all know you weren't in the car because it stayed on 4 wheels.
He said he was grounded.
He was grounded. Like when you watch Steve race, and you're used to this, you guys are used to this. I was amazed because there was one point he actually hit the wall and just kept on going.
Those mixes, they're not men. They are the men. Steve, I've seen him drive on the wall and finish the race. Last night he doored it pretty hard and just kept on. I don't know how you do it. I'm like, I'm done.
Just send it.
Yeah, he's like, nah, you just get her back in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was still. I think he might have gained some positions that might have been when the whole thing was going on. But he did a heck of a job leading the majority of that race, really.
Jake Eakin back in the game, obviously, and it was 1, 2, 3. It was it was Teddy, Jake, and Steve 1, 2, 3 last night, and like you said, hey, there's a little commonality to all of them.
I mean, Chris was on the show too, so
that's true.
Technically,
that's true.
Even if he wants to come
1 and 1A,
it's still he's an alumni here.
But the coolest thing I saw last night, and what I want to talk about today a little bit, we'll get to Ryan Johnston, who get another win, 3rd week in a row, The young man just keeps on winning. His 11th win overall. We'll talk about that in a moment. This will probably be an extended version of In the Driver's Seat because we won't have anything for a few weeks. Yeah. So we're just going to let this one be untimed. So hopefully you guys want to get your comments in about, anything that happened last night. Start the conversation in the comments box, and we'll address every single one of them. All right. So last night, we always talk about the Goods family. We always talk about, the racing family that shows up each and every Saturday. Last night, Steve Mick Sr. backing up, and then all of a sudden, clank, like couldn't get turned to the right, and all of a sudden it was like elves from Santa's workshop, just all together, and you guys fixed the problem, at least to get him back on the track and to get him into the future. You talk about it so many times. You didn't even think twice. Everybody just kind of jumped right onto the 3-car, and we're figuring out what was wrong with, what was it, the steering shaft or whatever it might have been?
Well, there was a power steering. So I guess Drew said he put a bolt in like the wrong way. And so like the steering wheel was like just like the steering wheel would spin around, but
it's not actually turning the wheels.
Yeah. So we kind of had the front end jacked up when everybody was taking care of that. And I think when we did that, nobody was paying attention to what was going on with the steering rack. So when they got that fixed and we put the wheels back because he tore the wheel off of it. So we straightened everything with the steering rack like all the way to the right. So he goes to like turn to the right and it hit the chassis. So we had to take everything back off and then readjust everything back to like turn. Mm-hmm. So that was what happened on that. I think that was everybody just like had too many. He had too many problems going on at once. And I used a different word last night, but there's too many people, too many people working on the car at one time. I don't think those people get too offended for us.
No.
We just won't start a precedent.
I don't think those people get too offended. Usually, if that comes out, you should stop.
Well, it's been a joke. I don't know probably since my grandpa was a kid.
And that's where it should have probably stayed, right there. But the impressive thing was, again, you talk about it all the time about what it's like in the back there, what it's like in the pits, what it's like in unless you go there, unless you experience this. And what I loved about it, and what I told everybody last night that I was going to talk about today as the casual racing fan, the guy that goes there for the first time, the guy that's trying to take everything in. There's just so many different intricacies that you talked about that you have to kind of understand. And if I didn't have a season and a half worth of these stories, I probably would have just everything would have just passed me by. Yeah. But you and I sat in the bleachers in what the first couple races, and then you kind of just led me around, and it's like, hey, just watch, kind of watch what's going on, and then I let you do your thing, and I just kind of took in the experience. What I love about this and what I hope to get across is these racers are the same guys that are going to be in your grocery store. They're going to be in a lot of them are going to be in your hardware store a lot. And in your racing stores and things of that nature, your Napas and all of that. But the cool thing about it is these are people that are in your community that are racing, and the amount of money, time, resources, passion, love, all that stuff that goes into this. And I hope I'm not kind of overshadowing what you guys are like. This is legit. Like there's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in this, and they're doing this, and they're still forking out money every week just to go out and put on a good show. And what a show it was last night. So I commend all of you guys each and every week, and a place that I want to be every Saturday. And I would love to be able to bring it to more people, because I think that was what we talked about. And what we've talked about this whole time is being able to bring the racing community and making it more showcased in the local setting. People don't even know the track's there. They don't. I wouldn't have known it was there unless you turned right.
Yeah.
I would have drove right by it.
Yeah, there's some people in that local area, and Salem's not far away from there, 10 minutes. So they don't know it's there. We got to let them know it's there. That's what we're trying to do.
We got to draw the attention to them. And what's it's just such a good night. And especially for I consider this area like a fair area. You know what I mean? And like from a standpoint of we love our fairs, street fairs, Canfield Fair, all of that, the festivals. It's a fair atmosphere every single Saturday. And, it's really cool if you come out. If you're just a casual person, you probably don't want to be there. What time were we there?
Oh, we got there like 4:15.
Yeah. So I got to see the background stuff. But like if the casual fan comes out, races start at 6:00, you're there till 10:00 ish.
Yeah.
That's 4 hours of good stuff. You can buy a grandstand ticket for $10, or what's it called? The $30 pass? The
Just pit pass.
Pit pass for $30. And it's really cool to be able to not just see these drivers, but to interact with them. To have people stop me last night and say, "Hey, we watch your show every Saturday." That was cool.
Yeah.
And then for someone to say, "Hey, you look bigger on than you're in real life."
I thought you'd be bigger.
I thought you'd be taller than you
Roadhouse,
are.
dude.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm built like an action figure, I guess. But we do have Shane Meadows. I don't want to steal anything from Shane. So Shane, talk about your kind of upbringing from the sport of racing. Like, when did you get started? How did you get started? And why are you still in it?
I grew up watching my dad race back in like 2001 to 2008, actually. And, I went to the track every Saturday and watched him, and he won a lot of races. And, I just kind of really wanted to do that someday. And, no matter what, I'd be there. And then come to, I think, 2009, I wasn't even, thinking about getting in a car, but then we walked out to the garage. My dad surprised me with the first junior Mod Light. And I wasn't really too excited about it. I was more like nervous, like, here we go. But, our first year, we didn't have a whole lot of it. We won 3 races, I think, out of the whole year. And then we sold that car and got our car that we have now, actually, in 2010. And it's an 06 chassis, and we just threw a 600 in it, and we ended up winning, I think, 14 races the next year.
Wow.
Won the season championship, and then we went into the Mod Lights. That was a big learning curve, a little bit more horsepower and drives a little bit different. And then we were racing until I graduated, and then I went to school. And before going to school, I went to University of Northwestern Ohio.
Okay.
Over in Lima, and it's a big racing school. Before school, I wasn't really like disciplined in the maintenance aspect.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know a whole lot about setup and stuff. But went out to school, got an associate's, and I met a lot of good kids who I still speak to today. They're really good friends of mine that taught me a lot. Like they were, they live, eat, and breathe racing, and I learned a lot from them and became more disciplined. And now it's like we don't go to Deerfield to make money. We go there because, back when you're in high school, you go and you play sports all the time. You do it for the competitive
love of the
nature.
game.
Yeah. You want to be the best.
Yeah.
So you work hard, and, races are won in the garage. So more work you put in the car, you wash every Sunday, go over every nut and bolt. And that's what drives me. I want to win. I don't go there to, I want to win. I don't go there just to have fun, which if you do, but I want to win.
Yeah, you're not there to hang in the trailers like me and him.
Yeah, I want to go there and be first.
So where does that competitive drive come from? Does it come from Dad?
Yeah. He didn't. He won a lot back then, and it's. If he'll let me know if I do something wrong, and we have some tips back and forth. But he was a good mentor as far as like discipline,
Yeah.
So
and you said it. You go to Goods because you want to be competitive, but there's nowhere else like Goods. You can compare it. Everybody you cook it. We talked about it last night. I mean, there's nowhere else like this place out there that does it on such a regular basis in this area. So when you go out there and you see these same cars week after week, do you start getting a feel for them? Is it like almost like watching tape kind of thing where, in football, you prepare the week before, but the same drivers are going to be out there. And have you ever been caught by surprise by some driver that, just kind of shows up all of a sudden?
Sometimes you'll get a guy that shows up and he's pretty fast. The guys there are usually they go there every weekend. They're always fast. I mean, they're hard to pass. And just like, me watching them, they know what I do. So they're able to, they know if I'm going to be aggressive or not, or, if I'm going to try the high side. Some guys like to bottom more often. And so sometimes they'll surprise you by going high and going right around you. But it's cool to be there with the same group of guys because they're all great guys. They'll drop anything to help you out and vice versa. So
it was cool last night. Just being able to be a fly on the wall kind of for some of the conversations, like Drew and Steve were having the conversation about how the younger kids are not, they just kind of line up in a single file line as opposed to being able to drive 2-3 wide on the track and understand your line, right?
Well, they got like 4 cars total.
Yeah.
So when if they join them in with us, they're used to like using the whole track, like from wall to apex. And sometimes that creates a problem.
Yeah.
Like their first time out. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They learn it pretty quick, though. It usually don't take too long.
But let's talk about a young man right now. We're going to go to his interview and learn a little bit. Ryan Johnston, who is like grease lightning right now. My guy's won his 11th race last night of his career, the 3rd of the season, and the 3rd week in a row. So here's Ryan Johnston in Victory Lane.
All right, Mr. Champion, talk to me about your race tonight. What went well for you?
I just got a good run in the outside and started passing people.
Yeah, you had a nice lead at the end of that race there. You still hammered down. Is it difficult for you to not be able to see what's coming behind you?
It's difficult because I don't have mirrors.
So how do you just focus on what's ahead of you and run your race as opposed to worrying what everybody else is doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you win? What number win is this?
11.
This is 11, okay.
This is his 3rd this season.
Okay, so 11, and this is your 3rd this season. What's the goal for you this year?
Kind of win kind of win every single time I'm here because
That's a good goal. It's a good goal to win every time you're here. What does it mean for you to have the checker flag here tonight?
A lot.
I like it, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So there he was. Humble is an understatement with that young man. He loves the racing atmosphere. He loves the game. He loves the whole, everything that goes with it. His parents super supportive, obviously. I want to say 9 or 10 years old. Like we were talking during the break about, how old is he? But we also, and when I actually have a picture. So I took a bunch of pictures last night. We're going to do a photo dump later today. Wasn't able to get to it last night because I don't know, for some reason I showed up at my house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
He joined the after party.
Some reason
Has nothing to do with this side of the table.
You hung out with the wrong crowd.
So last night, and you talked about it kind of while we were watching the video, but Ryan and Steve Mix were talking to each other, and Steve, a mentor in the game, and he doesn't even know it. You know what I mean? Like he's got 23 of those stickers of the championship features on his car, and Ryan's sitting there counting them. And I got a picture of it. When you look at a young man like this, you think prodigy, you think all this stuff, you think this could be the real deal. But the humility in his family, the humility with him, does it remind you of anybody that you've ever seen before? I mean, you guys have been in the racing game, and Shane, you've been in this a long time. Have you seen kids like this come up and really be something special?
Yeah. We had a kid named Jake Euchre my 2nd year in the junior mods, and he was a young kid. I think he started when he was about that age in the junior mods, and he come out the second night, and I think he passed me in the heat race. And I was like, what's going on here? And then he only raced 1 year with us, and then he got into an Econo mod, which is a bigger car, and raced over at Sharon. But the young kids, when they start that early, it's a great starting point, especially in the junior sprints. And it's more of a challenge, obviously, when you're going to move up to the junior mods and so forth. But he's obviously off to a great start.
Yeah. So when you look at, when did you start? What age?
I started when I was 12, I think, almost 13.
So a little bit older than he is.
When were you 12, 13?
2009, 2010.
Jeez. Okay, I'm done with you. All right. So show's over. Go home. These young guys.
So when you look at a young guy like that, do you see any of kind of yourself, and what kind of tips or things would you talk to Ryan about now, and just giving him, hey, this is kind of the lay of the land. This is what you want to focus on. Obviously you love winning, but it's not always about winning. It's about making sure that what you're trying to do with your car on a weekly basis. What kind of information or tips would you give him?
Like you said, just stay humble. And then the car comes first. When you're in the garage, if it's something that you don't think is a very big deal, make it a big deal. Try and fix it, make it the right way. Don't half.
You can say it. Yep. Yeah, you can say it. Yeah,
Just go try it.
If you wouldn't, Corey would.
Yeah.
I blazed the trail for Drew for it too.
Go 100% with whatever you do with it. Because if it costs you in a race, you're going to regret it for a long time.
Corey, what kind of advice would you give Ryan at this point?
His dad knows his stuff, so
sure.
Just keep talking to Steve and them guys. Nobody that you're racing against there is not willing to help you. Like Drew signed an autograph for a kid. And
that was awesome.
He's like, when are you gonna race? And he's like, I don't have a car. Like, let's work on it. And Drew would work on somebody's car if they're like, I don't know how to do this. He'd be like, his interview, I laughed because he's like, oh, I was real happy.
Yeah.
For a guy who was real happy with it, he made a lot of changes.
A ton of changes.
He's like, oh, I was real happy with it. And then I'm going to completely change it here in about 3 seconds.
And they were showing you how to do stuff last night. What was that they showed you with that
well,
long?
Steve had a vibration, so he had changed his pinion angle. I don't know nothing about that. I'm just
okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So he was taking it back. He was changing it back. He went to like 5 degrees or something.
He was
vibrating. So he went back to like 2 degrees to see if that. But then he changed that bar. But then he was making other changes. Like, well, do you have to do that because you did that? I know sometimes.
Yeah,
if you do one thing, you have to do another one.
Some of the bar changes you got to.
But he said no. He was just doing that to, pull the right rear forward.
Oh yeah, that'd be negative rear.
It had nothing to do with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, all right, if I can't do this, I might as well at least learn what the heck's going on here. So it was, and so we're here, on this side, Shane's over on this side, but if he said, hey, I need help with something, we go over there, and Sue Collins are over here on this far side. If he's got 4 cars to work on, so if he was like, hey, fellas, I need help with something, we'd all run over there and help him. So, and we all are racing against each other at some point.
Yeah.
Even Shane, when he drives the 9 car there for Terry, Terry's like, I got this.
Terry.
He's the guy that's like, I spent 50 hours a week working on this car. It's good.
Yeah,
that
car stays immaculate. That's one thing. Yeah.
But like everybody else, we'll travel around like a little pack of hillbilly mechanics just going around everywhere.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it, and it was cool. It was really, really cool. Nick chiming in. I'm surprised he's up at this point. Looked like 2 giggling schoolgirls in the E-truck as Corey pulled out of the pits last night. Is he talking about us?
Yeah. Well, you were laughing.
We
that was when the Walker Texas Rangers came. You were pretty hardcore laughing.
Well, it was. First off, that's going to be our new intro starting next week. We're going to make sure that happens. We got a few weeks.
Yeah, when you hear that bell chime, it starts out like a ding.
I'm excited. It was a good time. It really was a good time. And I can't tell people enough now from a firsthand experience, you need to go out and support these racers because they really want to see you in the stands. They want to meet you. They want to talk. I was going to save that for the end, but it's a perfect segue into, we're sitting there and talking and just giggling a lot of giggling last night at the end there. And a young fan comes up to Drew with, what was that, a water bottle?
Yeah, water bottle.
Yeah. And asked Drew for the autograph, which if you remember being young, that takes a lot of guts to do, especially when, Drew is around a whole
Like,
group of
he's
people.
inside his trailer, and there's like 5 or 6 of us on the outside.
And the humility of Drew was cool in that moment as well. I don't know if you guys
He
caught
was
that.
shocked. He was
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah.
And he asked the name and, do you have a race car? Do you race? And like you said, they said, no, I don't have a car. Well, we got to fix that. I love that. That out of all the moments that happened last night, that was probably my favorite moment because there was so much humility and so many things happening all at once because it kind of stopped everybody in their tracks because we all just went,
They were usually,
what's happening here?
yeah. It was a new group to the party. We're like, well, we're not again it.
Well,
join us.
I tried to. I kept saying, "Do you know the Bandit? This is the Bandit. This is
Let's hand out stickers and tattoos.
stickers and tattoos
Here you go.
of school to little kids.
Yeah. They don't say skull on it.
They don't, but it is the school logo.
I was like, one of these kids gonna put a sticker on or books or something. Teacher's like, you got a dip, dude? Like, what's that? He's like, be like
I got it from some guy at the track.
track.
Some dude with a mullet.
Teacher's like, you got a dip? He's like, what are you talking about?
He had a YSN shirt on and a belt.
Just handing out.
He's handing out
tobacco products.
stickers in a white van and an E-van. So Shane, what's next for you? I mean, you wanted the race last night because why?
Well, I had made an obligation to my mother.
There you go.
To rip out
Comes first.
cabinets in the kitchen. She's getting her new kitchen, so we had to
There
rip
you
out
go.
cabinets and install new ones.
So what's next for you now in the racing world? Like staying at Goods, obviously. What things do you have to work on to increase where you want to, from where you are now to where you want to be?
I enjoy it's a really good hobby with me because my brother's got a car now.
Okay.
And now we got 2 cars in the garage and we're trying to maintain them, and we want to start traveling, going out to down south, out to Wayne County, Hilltop. We want to go over to Sharon and race if they have us. Hilltop's got a big race, or not Hilltop, Blanket Hill's got a big race coming up in about 3 weeks. I just want to expand a little bit more than just staying at Goods. I mean, obviously Goods is right in our backyard, so we're going to go there a lot, obviously, but just expand and go elsewhere and make try and make some money out of it if we can, or at least get some good finishes. But just keep driving Terry's car whenever he needs and pulling double duty. That's always fun. So
this is your hobby, right? And what you want to do ultimately, hopefully someday is be your full-time gig. But what do you do as a full-time gig right now?
I work at Trick Flow Cylinder Heads.
Okay.
We manufacture high performance aluminum cylinder heads it's mainly in like drag racing world, but they can be put on like an everyday classic street car.
Wow. That's awesome. So you're really working in the field that you wanted to. Going out to Northwestern.
I mean, it's a fun gig. It's definitely not bad. Especially when they started putting AC in the building. So that made it a lot better.
Corey, final burnout?
I am burnt out after last night. We had a good time. It's just nice to see everybody try to get these guys everybody's personalities more out there. Like Shane, he's business on track, but you can have fun with him. Like he's not like, get away from me with your hillbilly stuff. Get out of here. No. He just kind of laughs at me like this goofball, and then I don't know, you guys came back and like, do you want to be a mod light tonight? And I was like, sure. I was like,
come join us, man.
Yeah, I was like, I would have done it,
Yeah.
He's like, we need one more. So I'm like, yeah.
That's what's cool. That's what's cool about Goods is everybody's going to help each other no matter what, even if we're racing against each other. You beat them on the track, but you help them out in the pits no matter what. It's just get them on the track.
That's awesome.
So.
Very cool stuff. I personally want to thank everybody from last night that came out and said hi. It was nice to kind of see you in your true places as opposed to the nervous as hell around this microphone. Like, everybody's like, oh, when are you going to get a car? And no way. I'm good with my Equinox on 4 wheels, Chris. I'm looking at you, Chris Robbins. I'm cool with it. And it was such a cool experience. So if you've never been out to Goods Raceway, make sure you get out there, spend the $30, get the pit pass, meet these drivers. Talk to him, buy the food. Sausage sandwich was phenomenal. Good food there, good people, and even better time. So thank you for dragging me out there. I appreciate it. It was a good time. I got to pay for it all day today with the old lady. So
Yeah.
got to make up for it. But appreciate it. Shane, thanks for stopping by, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I've been waiting to meet you. Excited for all the good things that come with you and all the good things that come with everybody at Goods, man. Just keep on keeping on, everybody, and appreciate all of you tuning in for this edition of In the Driver's Seat with the Boomhauer Bandit himself, Mr. Corey Renforth.
See you in about 3 weeks.
See you in 3 weeks.